Personal Brain is all about sort of helping you gain control of all your ideas, of all these open loops that you have in your own organic brain, in your own business. But the interesting thing about GTD and where the synergy comes in is for those of you who are already using Personal Brain, what Getting Things Done does is it provides a more consistent and concrete methodology that you can apply to your personal brain. So what I'm going to do is a couple things here. I'm going to start off with just a basic example for those of you that are new to Personal Brain, so you know how to get started after our seminar today and sort of mapping out your horizons of focus and organizing, capturing, and clarifying, as part of GTD. And then from there, we'll talk about how you can apply even more of David Allen's ideas in your own personal brain. So pieces of information in the brain are what we call thoughts, and a thought can represent any type of digital information. So clicking on a thought triggers all related pieces of information. So if I click on future trends, I might click on a thought called quantum mechanics, and from there, one piece of information can be effectively located under multiple categories. And the reason we're finding that that's so important for gaining control is because in your own head, you will make connections on ideas that you have, whether it's in your business or your personal life, on something, in this case it's quantum mechanics, but it could be as simple as your kitchen renovation. And by being able to capture all your ideas, all your information, and put it into what we call a historical context, that enables you to act on what you know much more effectively. So what you can do, I'm just going to go ahead and use the search in Personal Brain, and I'm going to go over to a client section. One of the advantages of Personal Brain is the ability to organize information under many different dimensions. So I've just activated my client's thought, and I can browse through my clients by their status, by industry, by service type. But the great thing about that is I'm not limited to storing my information in one category like I would be if I were using the file folder system. So I'm going to go ahead and click downward, and as you can see, I'm sort of drilling deeper into this brain, and under Media Entertainment category, I've got a client, Time Entertainment Inc. And now you can see I've accessed a wide range of documents. So really what the Personal Brain enables you to do is to input all these things that are surrounding you, whether that's in your business or personal life, and have that context for reference, whether it's today, whether it's when the client calls, or maybe it's a year from now when they call back for more business. Now I can attach any type of file to a thought, and just to show you how that works, I can go ahead and launch this Word document. And what you can see here is it's actually launching that particular website, and I'll just minimize a few things here. And same thing with web pages. I can come in here and create a new thought. So I'm going to create a new proposal here and add that under Time Inc. And once I have that thought, what I can do is right-click on that and add any number of attachments. So if I need to create a spreadsheet tracking my time, if I want to create a Word document and start that proposal, I can simply attach that file to that particular thought. And then what it does is it launches the file in its native application, and I can go ahead and type whatever I need to type and save that, and that gets saved back into my brain. So I'll just go ahead and minimize that. Now the other thing that I can do, of course, is integrate existing information. So one of the things that a lot of our users are struggling with is they are inundated with a wide range of information from many different sources. So in terms of your own personal productivity, organizing that information in a context where you can synthesize it and act on it will help you gain control on your project. So in this particular example, I'm going to go into customer data, and I might have some research report that's related to this proposal. So all I'm going to do is drag and drop that under my new proposal, and now that's added into my brain. The other thing I can do is, of course, select multiple documents. So if I want to grab all 3 of these documents and drag them all at once, I can easily do that. And creating new information is just as easy. Let's say I've won the business. So part of this project is creating a new website. So I'm going to come in here and just create a thought. And now what I can do is simply start to capture some of my ideas on this project in a brainstorming or free-flowing process so that I can get a handle on all these intangible tasks that would otherwise remain sort of floating out there in my mind in conversations by the water cooler. So on this new website, I need to do a couple things. First of all, I need to put together a project plan. So I'm just going to type in project plan here. And now I also need to build a team of web developers. So I'm going to say web people. And you can see here I'm just using the semicolon to let PersonalBrain know that I'm creating multiple thoughts. I also want to create a thought for development resources as we build this website, and then a thought for design inspirations. So now I've just added several ideas into my brain. From there, I can continue to build things. So if I want to go to development resources and even go out to the web, I can use the Brain's built-in search web feature. And come out here, and here's a website on software development resources. So what I can do now is simply drag and drop that link back into my brain. So let me just go ahead and do that and just resize the screen here so you can see the way that works. And I've just made a connection to that particular website. Now the other thing that I can do, if on that website I've read some really interesting information on maybe Flash programming, I can go ahead and each thought has a notes area here where I can type my ideas on that particular site. And if this particular site is related to my IT department, I can go ahead and make a connection. So really what we're doing here is we're building a context for you to organize and understand your information. So under development resources, I might also have a folder that I want to drag and drop in on my website project. And that folder has other folders as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that folder and drag and drop that under development resources, and that's going to go ahead and parse through that folder structure, and now I've got all that information integrated in my brain. And if I want to connect people, let's say I want Fred to be in charge of this website project, I can go ahead and make this connection. So now I've got my development resources, my new website under my new proposal. So it's really easy to go ahead and add information. And sort of just in terms of sort of taking this back to David Allen's philosophy and horizons of focus, there's a couple things you can do. Of course, you can organize all of your GTD, and each of your horizons of focus can have a thought in PersonalBrain, whether that's runway, which would sort of be, the actions that you're taking this week, or your 10,000-foot current projects, in which case I'm going to go ahead and create a link to that new website that I'm working on. So you can see now here, and let's say that this new website actually fits under professional now, so I'm going to go ahead and move that under here. It's very flexible. So this one particular project can be organized under website now. It could be organized under IT, so I'll just go ahead and connect it there. It can also be organized under marketing. So I'll make a connection there. And now I've effectively closed some loops in my own brain by having a mental space that reflects my thinking on this particular project. So I just want to come back to the horizons and focus area. and give you some ideas for implementing the GTD in PersonalBrain. So at 10,000 feet, what you can do is organize all your current projects. And I've started, just with a basic website project, but you can also utilize David Allen's natural planning model, which has several steps from sort of defining your purpose to mission to brainstorming and organizing. And the great thing about that is then these steps can be further related to something else in your brain. So for instance, I'm going to click on brainstorming, and this particular natural planning model was all about ideas for market expansion. So in this particular example here, we've used the brain to brainstorm different ideas, and then we've gone a step further and actually tagged the idea, because part of the GTD methodology is about sort of further contextualizing that. So for instance, in this particular example, if I want to increase online advertising, I can tag this as something that I'm going to do in 6 months. So I'll go ahead and set up a tag for that. Or maybe it's something that I want to only do when I'm talking to my CEO. And so I've got that tagged. And the nice thing about sort of tagging your to-dos is regardless of where they are in your brain, you can go ahead and access them. So if I want to see everything that I need to do when I'm talking to my CEO, I've just gone to my tags area, and I'm going to click on that thought. And now all that information that's tagged contextually as, I need to talk to my CEO exists here, but then I can also reference, where that is in my sort of other perspective. So it's really all about building this historical perspective. Just a couple more things, and then we're going to start to pick David's brain, both his digital and his organic one. One of the things that we're finding is that mapping out your ideas really helps you gain that sort of control and focus, that mental purpose that you wouldn't otherwise get. And so I'm just going to give you an example. I'm going to go ahead into my investments here. And you can see I'm using the Instant Activate, and this is very common to do when you have a brain, because you'll be able to shift focus very quickly. But one of the advantages of shifting focus is you feel like you're ready to go because you have all the information right there where you need it. So while my investments is related to my personal finance, my investments might also be related to my thinking on the stock market. And of course, the stock market wasn't doing so well for a while. It's starting a recovery. So for me, mapping out the stock market and our economy helped me sort of close a mental loop in my mind. It helped me get it out of my head into a system, a trusted system, where I could further think and define, about what I want to do. So do I want to, invest further in Apple? What's going on? Let me evaluate what's happening with the tech stock world. And then from there, go ahead and take action on what I know. So that's kind of the basic overview of PersonalBrain. What I'm going to do now is pass presenter back to David, and we'll go ahead and dive a little bit into how David has used the brain. And the interesting thing, before we do that, I do want to say that whatever level of GTD you practice in PersonalBrain is entirely subjective and up to you. I know people who, for their GTD, they'll actually capture, organize, process, review, all that in PersonalBrain, and other people who will just use it as sort of the reference aspect. And obviously there's no limit to what can be placed in a PersonalBrain, so that's something that you can sort of experiment